Hey guys, it's Sheri Vegas here and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing another art chat with an amazing artist and we have
Brianna from BS Quirky Creations. Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be making a gorgeous succulent wreath. So I make these sorts of things in my workshops. I also make them myself to sell in my retail space, which will be opening soon. So yeah, it's going to be a fun tutorial, I think.
Yeah, so where do you do your workshops?
I do it at a number of locations. So I'm based in Ipswich and I do workshops out at Dimmoor Cottage. I also do it at Feather Road Studios and also Workshop Hub over at Manly.
Yep, so a bit all around for Brisbane, Gold Coast.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. And what do you teach in your workshops? What are the few?
So I actually specialise in succulent dream catchers. Now I wasn't going to show you guys today because it's sort of my secret weapon. But so succulent wreaths, sort of any type of succulent art. Yeah, just lots of different botanical things basically.
Yeah, so you're a botanical artist?
Yeah, that's what I call myself, yeah.
So where is your new space going to be at?
My new space is going to be in Raceview, Ipswich, and it is a home-based space. So
yeah.
I live at the house obviously, and my bottom floor is just completely designated to my retail space. So
that's going to be so cool. So what's going to be involved in your retail space?
So many different things. So as I said, lots of succulent creations. I'm going to be making succulent wreaths, succulent dream catchers. I also do wooden planters. And also I do a lot of like polymer clay creations. So little succulent earrings, little clay gnomes, lots of cute little things.
So you really like got a good like all-rounder going.
Yeah, and macrame. Yeah. I just do everything.
That's really cool. How'd you get into the succulent art?
Well, I've always loved like plants, and I grew up down in New South Wales, so I was always like one with nature, always out just being a crazy little kid on the farm. And I just found that living up in Brisbane, I just didn't have enough time to, just to create and do all the things that I was doing as a kid. Yeah. I was studying education and I just decided to drop it, give this a go, and it just really took off from there basically.
Yeah, so now you're a full-time artist.
Yes.
And you actually make your supplies as well, which I thought was pretty cool. So
thank you.
The wreaths are all handmade by you as well.
Yes.
And you are now growing all the succulents.
Yeah, starting to propagate and grow my own, which is awesome. I do go to a lot of people like locally and privately to get like my fresh batches, but most of them I'm starting to grow from babies myself, so that's good.
That's really cool. So we'll get started.
Yes.
So what is the first step that we need to do when we are creating one of these?
Okie doke. So what I like to do first, so I like to hand make these wreaths myself. So I use like a variety of different green flexible sticks to make like my first sort of circle, and then I go through and weave sticks throughout. But you can also buy them from Spotlight or different arts and crafts stores, which you should see the link for. And then we like to use sphagnum moss. So if you have a look, I'll just show you. This is the type of moss I like to use. You can buy it from Bunnings. It's like it comes in a vacuum seal pack and it's all dry, but you just add heaps of water and it like absorbs all the moisture. Yeah. And yeah, it's ready to go.
Cool. And for those who don't know, Bunnings is a hardware store in Australia.
Yes. It's the local. So what I like to do first is just grab a nice clump. Now this is pretty pliable, so you'll notice that when you squeeze it like this, it'll sort of hold its shape and hold into place. So I kind of put a big clump of moss like on the top of it, like a smiley face.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, and you wanted to go the whole way around, you could.
Yeah, of course. So I actually do like full succulent wreaths, and it's just the exact same thing. So the techniques you'll learn today, you'll be able to go away and make full succulent wreaths if you'd like.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I've seen your Dreamcatcher workshop, and that looks amazing. So obviously, if anyone is in the local area and wants to check it out, they can just head to your Instagram or Facebook page.
Yes, absolutely. And I have my own site, which I take some of the bookings for, but most of my venues take the bookings through their sites separately, which you should find on my page.
Yeah, so we'll add the links all in.
Alright, so we've got our moss on like this, and as I said, it's all like moist, and you should be able to feel like the moisture as you squeeze it. And to attach it, now what I like to do is we've got some natural twine here, and you can also buy that from Bunnings or pretty much, I think even Coles would have it, just like in the hardware section.
Sort of craft and
yeah. And I like to use the natural colour because it blends in with the twine, so it's not with the moss. Sorry. So
it's not going to stand out like a blue string would.
Yeah. So we're just going to tie a nice tight knot on one of the sides, and don't stress if your moss is falling off. I find a lot of people get frazzled by that. But it'll all hold in place once they've got the twine on properly. So just a nice tight double knot just around the moss, And what we're going to be doing is wrapping all the way up and then all the way back. So just picking it up like this.
I feel like this is just one of those things that gets messy, like you can't do it neatly.
Exactly, I'm always got so much to pack up. My house is just full of moss always.
It's the same, like when I do resin art, you're gonna get drips. That's just how it is.
Yep.
But that kind of is like, what's the fun part about making these things is kind of the mess as well.
Yeah, exactly. My partner and brother are always upset with me. They're like, hey, did you clean up today? No. So just wrapping that, and as I said, making sure it's nice and tight. You don't want it to be sort of having gaps so you can pull up your twine. You want it to be nice and tight, secure, and attached to your moss. All right, so I'm all the way up here, and now what we're going to be doing is wrapping back in sort of like a crisscross motion. So you can't really see the twine, but so one of them's going that way, and we're going to wrap across it like that. For things now, actually, that is a bit loose there, but you'll notice when we go and add the glue in the next one, that'll help secure it and hold it into place better. But what you want to be doing is just grabbing it, giving it a shake off, making sure all that excess stuff's off, and then just trimming the tail. Okay, doke. So now we're going to be moving on to the gorgeous succulents. It's like your own little chocolate box. And what I like to do, I was actually supposed to bring a planting stick today. You can use like a stick or a skewer, and just to create little holes in your moss, but I just use my finger because I'm lazy. And having a look at your succulents, I'll just shuffle this over. You can see that I've got like some bigger ones, and then it sort of graduates down to the smaller ones. And what I like to do with that, and if you actually have a look at the one I made prior, is I like to do like the bigger ones in the middle and then sort of splay it out to the baby ones. Obviously not working with succulents that are too heavy or too big, because they're not going to last on the reef very long before they grow too big.
I like that too, because it adds a bit of balance to it and makes it look a bit more delicate than just randomly adding them.
Yeah, definitely. There is like an art to adding the succulents, I think. It's like, yeah, even just in the past year, I've noticed my like placement is getting gradually better, slowly getting better at it. Now, if you have a look at the little, oh, there we go. I don't know. If you have a look at the stems, you can see this one's got a decent amount, but you see how it's got this leaf here that's kind of in the way. What you want to be doing is just carefully popping it off and holding it aside. Now you can actually use these little guys to propagate your own succulents. If you have a look here at the end, like little babies will grow out of it. If you just sit it on like a nice dry surface for a week or so, you should see a little bud start to form and maybe little roots.
That's really cool.
It's awesome, isn't it? I constantly have like leaves and babies everywhere.
Well, it's like no waste.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I feel like this is very like eco-friendly, a hobby to have.
Yeah.
Everything's natural so far, so it's going well.
One with the earth, that sort of stuff. So if you have a look here, we've trimmed that, but it might actually be a little bit long. So if you've got a stem and it's too long, all you need to simply do is just trim it with the end of your finger like that. I've just made it a little bit shorter so it'll fit in my reef nicely. So for now, we're just going to deal with like placement, where we want them to go, and then we'll go through with our tacky glue shortly.
Yeah, because it would be better to do it this way than to start gluing them and then realise you don't want one there, and then you've got to try and get it out with the glue.
And just like, you'll notice if you take one out, then you have to find one that's like the exact same size to go back in.
Yeah. So it's better to like work your placing out before you start making like final decisions.
Definitely. Oh, this little, there we go, there's another leaf that fell off. Now in winter, the succulents are so much more colourful. You'll notice in summer, they'll start to lose a lot of their colour, which is funny because yeah, you'd think it'd be the opposite way.
So how long does this reef last for?
It will last for up to like 6 months, I think, before you have to start like trimming and maintaining it. So this one I've had done for about 2 weeks now. It hasn't gotten too much sun, but you'll notice that when they start to like when they're not getting enough sun, they'll stretch and they'll start to grow taller. Whereas these guys are still nice and low, haven't stretched at all, getting enough sun, which is good.
I never knew that. I always wondered why like some succulents would just shoot up and grow.
Yeah.
So it's because they're not getting enough sun.
Yeah, so I think all of these are actually pretty good, but you'll notice, so see how this one's all compact and like nice and tight. What'll happen is the stem will get longer and the actual spaces between the leaves will start to stretch, and that's what we call stretching. So it means they need more sun. And it's always good to have a variety of colours too. Like I've done themed reefs, so we do like pastel colours, but my favourite ones are just the ones that sort of incorporate all the different colours, all the different textures.
They're just so pretty.
See, I don't even think I like that one there. I'm probably going to move it.
So do you have to water these? Like,
Yeah, so basically, as I said, the moss absorbs a lot of water. So what you'll really only need to do is once a week, maybe even once every 2 weeks. Just give it a little spritz with water, like with a spray bottle, just all over the moss until it's like absorbed that water and it's nice and fluffy again. And then waiting for it to completely dry out before you do it again. So maybe investing in like, well, you don't really need to invest, everyone has them, a skewer or a stick, and then just sort of put it into the moss and see if it comes out wet or dry, and that'll give you an indicator as to whether or not they're ready to be watered. All right, that one doesn't actually have much of a stem, but I'll just be able to put a tiny little bulb on there and pop it on. Now, these succulents have also been in cutting form for like a good 3 days or so, I think. So what you want to do when you're working with succulents is try and make sure the end is nice and calloused up, because if it's got a freshly cut end and then you're adding more moisture and more glue to it, it's a very high chance that they'll rot. So you just want to make sure it's nice and protected and sealed off on the end. Now, as you can see, we're getting close to the edges now, so I'm slowly sort of starting to get the smaller ones, little baby succulents.
They're just so cute.
This one is my favourite. It's so pretty.
It is.
Actually, I'll put it over this side.
So how did you get started in teaching the workshops?
Yeah, so I actually got approached by a woman at Dinmore Cottage Tea House, and they don't specialise in workshops, but they just, they just do like lovely tea, lovely coffee, the most amazing scones. And they were like, oh, we're thinking about doing like creative workshops. How would you feel? And they're also offering a nursery there. So that was what sort of prompted them to contact me. Well, that one's not going to sit, so it's just going to sit there for now until I add glue. And from there it just took off, and I sort of started finding other locations and other people. And I was studying to be a primary school teacher, so I found that, like workshops obviously is pretty similar to teaching kids.
It's the teaching background.
Yeah. I feel like teaching adults is almost more challenging than kids sometimes. We're all set in our own ways when we're adults.
Yeah, and we can tend to be a little bit more perfectionist, but when kids are just happy to just do it.
Yeah. And these are like, do the dream catcher pattern, when I do those workshops in particular, people get very like content that they have to be the same as mine and it has to look perfect. But everyone just needs to understand that, like, I think art is our own interpretation of how we see things and how, like, our capabilities of how we can create. So.
Yeah, and also too, no one's going to get it perfect the first time.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't get stressed about it. It's all a learning opportunity, and then next time when you go to create it, you know what you're going to change and do differently. And you know, when I started to do resin, I wasn't perfect the first time. It took me quite a few goes to get my style and sort of my technique happening.
This is a tacky glue that I buy from Spotlight. Spotlight can be a bit pricey, but I find that this stuff is really good. It dries clear and it has a bit more stronger hold than like normal PVA or even hot glue. So it's really well. It's also water-based, so it's not going to put any toxins or harmful chemicals into the suckies. Oh, hello there. That was a big explosion. Now don't stress if you get big ones like that, because as I said, it dries clear and it is under the succulents, so you're not going to see any of that mess.
Just extra secureage.
Exactly, as they get the weight. So just a little, no, try and do a smaller blob this time. Now this glue also works really well because it's got like a sort of nozzle on it that helps you get in and around all the suckies. And you want to apply that pressure just to make sure they hold in place. It will take about half an hour before they start like fully holding, so you can pick it up and move it around. Because
it's a slow drying glue, so it's not going to dry instantly like a hot glue would.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of people pick it up like, woohoo, I'm ready, but they're not ready. Now, little bits will fall off while you do it too, but... Now, I do have my own YouTube channel, not that it's been very used, and I will admit there's some videos of me singing on there. I'm a little bit of an amateur musician, but I do have a YouTube channel, just BS Quirky Creations, and I also have Facebook and YouTube. My Facebook is also just at BS Quirky Creations, and I believe my Instagram is BS_Quirky Creations. I find that a lot of people, when they hear BS, they think of something else, but I won't say that on the channel today. You get the picture.
I'll put all the links down below as well as across the screen. But what are you going to have on your YouTube? Are you going to start focusing on it?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually do have one up there of a succulent wreath one, but at the beginning of that one, I do actually show how to hand make your own wreath. But
So if you do want to know how to hand make your own wreath, make sure you go and check it out. The link will be down below. And don't forget to subscribe.
Wonderful, thank you. All subscribers, it's a massive help.
So if you guys are enjoying this video so far, and I do want to create more of these artist chats, make sure you leave a comment in the box below letting me know, so that way I can reach out to a few new artists and get them on board. As well as, if you are new to the channel and you've not yet subscribed, please do so, because obviously I want to feature more of these videos. And if you are enjoying this video, give it a big thumbs up, because it helps YouTube show this to more people.
Also, sometimes towards the end, instead of like if it gets a bit tricky to get in there, you can just put a little blob right on the end of your sucky. Sometimes it comes out too quick. There we go. And then you can just plop it in place. So what's going to happen is, obviously it's sitting there with the glue, but as the roots start to grow, they'll sort of push past the glue, create their own little spots, and then they'll attach themselves to the moss, and getting like the nutrients and moisture from there, just as they would soil. Now, obviously moss doesn't provide as much nutrients as soil does, so you might have to get some fertilizer. I would recommend a sea salt fertilizer, which is like a seaweed extract, which I also get from Bunnings as well. So we'll chuck the links into those, just so if you want to make your own, you know where to get the resources, you know where to go, and it's not like a huge mystery as to where you get moss from. Because I found that when I first started, I was like, where do you even get that moss? Like, where is it? So I think it's really good to know, and it's good to just be like, yep, I'm going to go here and here, get my resources, and it's good to go. So, oh, actually that little bit of moss there is annoying me. There we go. So that is all beautiful and done. Now, just to give it a last little touch, what I like to do is just add a little bow at the top. Now, it's completely up to you guys if you want to do that. You can buy like bigger ribbons or whatever you want, really. Or you could just go all the way around with your suckies.
So thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help out. And if you really enjoyed these, don't forget to check out the YouTube as well.
BS Quirky Creations.
Yeah. And also on Instagram and Facebook. So it's all BS Quirky Creations, but I will have all the links as well. But how amazing does this look?
And it dried pretty quickly too. I think one just fell off before, but besides that, they're all holding pretty good. So that's the fresh one we did. And this is the one that was pre-done.
Looks amazing.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming.